What up, though? And welcome to Lunchtime Detroit Lions Talk, brought to you by Detroit Lions on the Prowl and Lions Nation Unite. It's your man, Curt. Still, today is Wednesday, Hump Day, baby. March 29th, 2023. On deck for the day show, we discuss how the Lions are out of the Lamar Jackson sweepstakes. Coach Mike looks at Dan Campbell's statement on Calais Campbell, and then I update you on what Rod Wood had to say at the league's winter meetings. But before we get into all that, man, it's time to bring in the rest of the crew. First up, man, y'all see the shirt, Yak Town Don't Back Down. It's your favorite player, LL Cool Tones. What's going on, my guy?
What's that? I'm Prowl Nation. Shout out Sean Preston on the Yak Down Don't Back Down, and good morning.
Man, y'all know who it is. It's the boxing pride of Jackson, Michigan, man. He got all them jobs, man. He'll cook you a meal. He'll cut you a fade. He'll give you a fade. He'll watch your kids. He'll coach your kids, man. It's my man, the Wolverine. Who?
Coach Mike Jones. What's going on, Lion fans?
Let's get this thing started
Right now.
Let's go.
It's Detroit Lions Talk, baby.
Welcome back to the show, people, man. Dan Campbell said something yesterday, man. He said, we got a quarterback. LL, talk about what's going on with Detroit and Lamar Jackson.
You said it right there. That's pretty much it. He said, yo, look, he good and all that. We played against him a couple years ago, and we was like, but we got a quarterback, and that's it, I guess. So that's it. It's you know, that's the crux of it. It's good, you know, if you want to look at it that way, because now they're going to fully invest in believing in Jared Goff. So everything will be put in making the team well enough, you know, that he won't fail us. So, you know, it's the good side of it, the bad side of it, I guess. Yesterday I tweeted, I put on the internet that I feel like all NFC teams should be looking at Lamar Jackson just because we talked about on Monday. NFC wide open in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Even Philly, you know what I'm saying? Philly then, you know, lost some names. You know, they drafted some guys to replace those names, but, you know, they may not be the same forceful team as they were in this past season. So, you know, that was the top dog. We could beat Minnesota. Who else was in the playoff? Dallas, fuck them. We could beat the Giants. We could beat I done said it 100 times. We all gonna say it 100 times between now and whenever, but the NFC is wide open. And, you know, I felt that, you know, us, well, number one, we already should be, you know, poised or putting ourselves at the top of that. But with a player like Lamar Jackson, because everybody going to say the money part of it, but you're going to have to pay one of them now or later. But, you know, with a guy like that, we'd probably be the number one team without a doubt. You know, that's one of the things that some of our coaches growing up used to say, leave no doubt. So you would leave no doubt that we are the best team in the NFC, I would think. But, you know, whatever. I feel like we still could be the best team in the NFC without Lamar Jackson, because we're going to build this team up with everything with all of the resources we would have to use to get Lamar Jackson. So, you know, if y'all sad, be sad, I guess. But I guess you got to look at it from that standpoint. When you look at it at that standpoint, that's the only standpoint you can look at it, honestly, is that now we're just going to put full force forward into bettering this team for Jared Goff. So what do you guys think about that?
I don't think they're better for Jared Goff. I think that he's making the team better, period.
Well,
because,
yeah.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but I think it's a smart move by the Lions not to trade for Lamar Jackson. Now, I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I don't like Lamar Jackson. I don't think he's talented. Shout out to my brother-in-law, Sylvester, man, Jr. Leave my quarterback alone. My wife's from Baltimore, man. So,
Sylvester
you know,
Jr.
All my, that's what his name. His name's Sylvester. So.
Do he like fish sandwiches?
Nah, hey, we call him Junior, man. That's my guy. But yeah, man, leave my quarterback alone. Hey, you can keep him. I'm not trying to be facetious or be like, you know, whatever, but the Lions just freed up tons of cap space, man. They're trying to get the cap situation right, because y'all know Bob Quinn put us in salary cap hell, took it to a place where it took Brad Holmes and his new guy a few years to kind of get it back, you know what I'm saying, to where we can start adding assets that we, you know, and then making some smart contract decisions. But Goff is playing solid right now for Detroit, man. He was top 10 last year in the second half of the season. He ended the season top 10 and he played, and most importantly, here's the deal with Jared Goff. He played the whole season, the entire thing, front to back, everything, every game. Lamar Jackson hasn't played an entire season in 3 years, 3 of them. And his style of play kind of has something to do with that. Even with the way he put on last offseason, he bulked up, and he still was hurt. It's just the style of football he plays, man. You know, he's gonna have that type of injury risk. But it's just, right now, it just doesn't make sense for the Lions to make that trade. If they had everything in place and the money was right, I could see it. But we're still rebuilding right now. We're still adding pieces. I just don't think it's the right time for that move. I get what you're saying. You know, hey, you know, I think, like you said, I think we're still one of the top teams in the NFC without Lamar Jackson, with Jared Goff under center. You know, so if he continues to play the way he played the last half of the season, I don't know what it is, we forget. And it's
That's
not
a big if, though.
I mean, we forget that Jared Goff has been to a Super Bowl, right? Jared Goff was a perennial playoff quarterback in LA. They went to the playoffs several times with Jared Goff in LA. I mean, and he was out there playing Seattle, San Francisco. He was playing some tough teams. So it is what it is. What you got, Coach Jones?
So I mean, Lamar Jackson. If you sign Lamar Jackson, we become the instant front runner in the NFC, hands down, for the Super Bowl. That is how it is. Jared Goff makes us a playoff contender and a possible Super Bowl contender. You know, so I'm not gonna act like not getting Lamar wouldn't make us a better team, because it would. But with that being said, I trust Brad Holmes and what they're doing. I trust Dan Campbell. I trust that front office to put the pieces in place to make this team right. They doing an excellent job so far. So yeah, will Lamar Jackson make up? We might win the damn Super Bowl next year with Lamar Jackson as quarterback. But with that being said, you know, I trust the process, man. So you know, it's kind of a win lose, but you know, it ain't that bad type of thing, man. So I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying that Lamar Jackson came because Lamar Jackson can ball. Dude was the MVP in 2019. The dude can ball, but the Lamar Jackson that's on the field right now is not the same Lamar Jackson that was the MVP. You haven't seen that version of Lamar Jackson since then.
Yeah.
You know, he's been injured, he's been hurt, but one thing I will say, he hasn't had the tools around him that he had in his MVP season as well. I can't sit here in front like he's had the same cast around him. He will be dangerous in his Lions offense. We have some weapons that, you know, that we put around him that we could put around any quarterback. Like you say, you're making it better. We think making it better for whatever quarterback's under center. We got weapons for him. So that's all I was saying, you know, saying, hey, but just make it, if it's good for Jared Goff, it's good for anybody else. I mean, that's how it should be. But with all that being said, man, like the video, share the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel. Hey, it's time for the family discussion topic for today. LL, what you got, man, on the family discussion topic?
Well, this family discussion topic for today is this the right move for Detroit? Should we just not make is staying put the right way to go on this one? Leave y'all comments. Of course, you know how we do, and we'll read them on the next show.
All right. So, man, now, you know, go ahead. It's time, man. It's time. If you haven't been to fanatics.com, go over there. The draft caps dropped the other day. I ordered mine. It's on the way. It's coming. When they get here, y'all know I'm going to have it on the next show. So go over to fanatics.com. Links in the description below. And a portion of the proceeds help us grow the channel right here on Detroit Lions on the Prowl, your home for Detroit Lions news and rumors. Check us out on Lions Nation Unite. You can go to the Google, Android, or Apple App Store to download the Lions Nation Unite app, or you can just type in lionsnationunite.com in your web browser, or check out their Facebook page. They're doing big things over there. They're doing live content over there on YouTube, inside the app, all around. Great Detroit Lions content from some of your favorite Detroit Lions content creators at Lions Nation Unite. Check out the shop over there at lnushop.com, man. Grab yourself some game day gear, because it's always game day in the LNU shop. Holler at us on Detroit Lions on the Prowl.com. While you're over there, click on the link for LionsOnTheProwlShop.com. Grab yourself some Prowl Nation gear. My man, Coach Jones, will hook you up, man, because if you're a Wolverine on Saturday and a Lion on Sunday, he got that Wolverine gear over at Wolverine.com, man. Check your boy Curt Steele out over at CurtSteele.com and over at Sideline Report, man. I put a new article out the other day about we talked about with DJ Chark and his replacement may be on the roster already. So go over there to SidelineReport.com and check your boy Curt Steele out, man. Hey, now, Coach Jones, man, there was a name that came up in the owners meeting yesterday, man. Talk about what Dan Campbell had to say about a different Campbell.
Yeah, they talking about Calais Campbell, the big giant from Baltimore. So as you know, the Baltimore Ravens released Calais Campbell for money reasons. That's a very common thing in NFL, you know. But Calais Campbell, even though he is 36 years old, is still productive. He is still producing over there. He was in Baltimore. Calais Campbell had 5.5 sacks last year. You know, so he's still getting after it, and he's more of an interior pass rusher. He's more of a close in type of guy, like basically in a 3-man or a 5-man front. He can play that tweener tackle, kind of that 5 tech. He's better suited in a 4-3, being a 3 tech. You know, but Calais Campbell is still so productive. He's a guy that can come in, and he's a good teacher. He's a guy who can come in and let guys know across the whole. He can play every position on D line. Early in his career, he was the end. He was a end. So he can teach all those guys, you know, that young core, how to be a defense, how to play championship playoff caliber defense. And last year he played 14 games. So at 36 years old, he's still doing it. And Dan Campbell, I'm gonna paraphrase him a little bit. Dan Campbell said, man, I don't know how he's still doing. He said, I'm you know, he's talking about his body and thinking like, how can the man still produce and still play at this age? And he's like, hey, he's still doing it. So I mean, that's one guy that I definitely would I would sign him to maybe a 2-year contract. Because he's a guy who can come in and not have to play every down. He can come in and be a rotational guy. And I'm all in on Calais Campbell, man, coming and teaching these guys, kind of like Kyle Vandenbosch taught those guys in 2013, I think it was, 2014.
Kyle Vandenbosch.
Man, he can hate all he wants to, but he was teaching those guys. He was teaching.
It wasn't him.
The motor that he needed. He was teaching those young guys Jim Schwartz's way of playing football, and because he came from the Tennessee Titans, so you can go on with that LL. But you know what he listed 5 teams as possible landing spots that he would be interested in. That was Detroit, Atlanta, Jacksonville, Buffalo, and the New York Jets. Mm-hmm. So you know it's not like Detroit is the only spot, but I told y'all from the beginning of free agency, Brad Holmes is finna shoot his shot. Told y'all, man, and I feel it, man. And you know what? He might not sign with Detroit, but just for him to mention Detroit as one of his possible landing spots, basically let me know. Give you a high 1 to Richard Sherman. You know what I'm saying? We give a high 1 to Rob Gronkowski. Y'all know what the high 1 is. I ain't gonna do it on here, but yeah, we give a high 1 to both of y'all, man.
No,
and Michael Parsons too, talking all that yin yang at the beginning of at the beginning of free agency, man. Just people want to be here, so take it what it is, man. What y'all got about that?
Yeah, for me, this is what we wanted Michael Brockers to be. But he will be a good addition. He's a very, like you said, veteran defensive tackle, still productive in that Ravens defense for the last couple of years. He can effectively play the run and pass and mentor guys like Aleem McNeil. And possibly, if we draft him, Jalen Carter, man. If they draft him, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But
If he there.
It's a yes on Calais Campbell for me, and that's rare because I see what the Lions are doing with this roster, making it so young. But that guy, you don't say no to that guy who's still productive.
No.
What you got, LL?
Boy, 6'8", 300 pounds.
I like Calais Campbell a whole lot, but he can come here if you want to get paid $17.50 an hour. It's gonna have to be low, and he's gonna have to accept. But I don't like, because I don't feel like he would accept that diminished of a role, because everything y'all saying about him, we got a guy in Bugs. Like, that's his role here. Everything y'all said about him as far as like locker room and teaching and, you know what I'm saying, teaching guys to be professional, I guess that's what his role is and John Kaminsky's role is. So it wouldn't hurt to add him. I like Calais Campbell a whole lot. I like him from way back from the youth.
Hey, but some depth though.
You're right. I mean, but I don't, you know, it all depends on what kind of role we gonna offer him, what kind of role he willing to accept, and if he willing to take $17.50 an hour. Now it's time to. I don't know. You had me, Coach Mike, until you said a couple things. A 2-year deal, I don't know, because again.
Well, the way they work in those contracts is the 2-year deals usually are really
it's just a 1 year.
Okay. It's just a 1 year.
Okay, well, never mind it. But you gonna say, I'll leave the Kyle Vandenbosch stuff alone. He ain't teach nobody nothing. What he taught Sue? Sue knew how to play football. Sue had that aggression. Kyle Vandenbosch ain't teach. He taught them.
Not just Dominic and Sue. He taught the whole line what Jim Schwartz wants out of his D linemen.
He taught them guys how not to be and not wear red contacts and not be no fool out there looking dumb with his pants on the ground. But that's I just said that because that song, looking like a fool with the pants on the ground, pants on the ground. But I don't think his pants was ever on the ground. So my apologies, Mr. Vandenbosch. I don't want to put you out there like that. Just because I didn't think you was a good football player, I don't need to make fun of your character.
Anyways, moving on along. Hey, like the video, share the video, comment on the video. Hey, be a part of the Prowl Nation family. Join the Wall of Fame, man. We're going to have that coming up later on in the show, man. And it's Wednesday, which is mean we have our gold members meeting. Check the community tab for the link, man. Make sure you follow us on your favorite social media platforms. Check us out on Facebook, TikTok, and of course, tomorrow is Thursday, so you know what it is. It's Thursday. So head over to LL's Instagram page for our Thirsty Thursdays and maybe catch that link for a Tupperware t-shirt exchange.com. All right, so hey, Rod Wood put out some information yesterday, man. It was kind of later on in the day, but it came out last night, and here's some quick updates on the business side, where Rod Wood should be. All right, here's some quick notes from what he had to say in his limited presser yesterday. The new alternate helmets will be worn with the Color Rush uniforms this year. So if you're looking for the new helmets, they will be designed to be worn with the Color Rush. Still a possibility that the Lions may play in Germany this year versus the Kansas City Chiefs has not been ruled out because, the schedule hasn't came out yet. Detroit had tabled all of their rule proposals except for the emergency quarterback, saying that, add a third quarterback to the roster. You look what happened to the San Francisco 49ers in a playoff game. So the league did table that. They didn't vote no on it, but they tabled that until the spring meetings in May. All right. Calvin Johnson's relationship with the Lions still seems to be headed in the right direction. So that's good. Long as he stays out the way, because, Calvin Johnson said Rod Wood was primarily the issue he had with the team. The Lions will be hosting the New York Giants for their first preseason game of the year, and they will hold joint practices before that game. The new field turf is in at Ford Field. It's complete, and they said the service is top-notch. David Montgomery went by the stadium and checked it out when he first got there. He said that is the best service he's ever seen on an indoor, which says the field turf. Season tickets are almost gone. Season tickets have almost sold out already for the season, and Ford Field is expected to be a sellout most of the year. So check it out. Barry Sanders statue is to be unveiled at the first home game of the season. Now, Rod Wood said that he did request that the Lions start on the road this year, and with hope of that, making sure that's going to be done, and with the added that the Lions can finish at home this season instead of on the road like they had the last couple of years. The Lions are updating the dining options at Allen Park, and they're adding a second dining room on the second floor at Allen Park. Now, these updates were happening. We all know about the NFL Players Association survey. It was happening before that, but those things are happening. You know that the Lions are listening. You know, Dan Campbell already said if the players need something, all they got to do is ask, and Sheila Hampton's gonna be on the case. Now, speaking of Allen Park, here's the last thing: the Lions are thinking about relocating the team practice facility and headquarters from Allen Park. Now, they are updating the current facility. Like I said, they're updating the dining room and putting one on the second floor, and updating the dining options, and probably going to do some stuff with the weight room and everything like that. But they have begun to scout other locations for the Detroit Lions practice facility and headquarters. So it may be coming up sooner rather than later, but that is your business side of the Detroit Lions with the update with Wildwood. What do you guys think about those updates coming from Wildwood?
I like it. I like that he's doing what he's supposed to do, and that's handle the business side of things. Don't talk to no players. Don't have conversations with no players. Don't say shit to nobody about nothing but business. Look, I want to know how the money is. I want to know about the new martinis with the limes in them. All of that. So he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, man. I'm just glad that that just shows you that the front office is in place and everybody's doing their dang job, man. Thank you. Don't talk to nobody, Rod. What you got, LL?
Yeah, they just put him in the right spot. It seemed like we might be good at doing that. You know, we talked about James Houston. You know, he might have been playing out of position for a while, and now we found him a nice home. Found Wildwood a nice home on the other side of stuff, just worrying about ticket prices and if we're going to put Conies in the stadium or not. So shout out to Wildwood. Thank you for, getting it right. Or thank you for the whole organization getting it right and putting Wildwood in a position that he seems to be well suited for. And Wildwood, let's get some smoking sections in there, man. If you working with the boy Megatron, direct marketing, you know what I'm saying? Put it right there, we right there. You got a family section. You could just have a higher experience section, something like that. If you use that, that's my IP. We on this video is recorded. So,
I think the only thing they probably could do is add a cigar lounge. That may be it. And then you can mix that in there.
Okay. I was going to say, don't try
mix that in there. You can mix it in there.
Step on me now, Curt.
Because I'm not stepping on you, man. You gotta listen. It's a cigar lounge, and you could just mix that because there's a different permit for a cigar lounge than it is for a dispensary.
I got you.
So, yeah,
I was saying I thought you were.
You got me. So cigar lounge, you know what I'm saying?
We used to stuff them cigars anyway.
Anyway, all right. That's it. That's your business update report from the business side, man. Now it's time to do what I like to do. My favorite segment of the show. It's time for the comment cards, baby. See what you had to say about the last show. Scott Smith said correct. They already have Chark's replacement, and I'm glad that that the high dollar Chark is gone. We can draft a tall wide receiver in the third round. A.T. Perry from Wake Forest is my hope. That name seems to be going around a lot with Detroit fans. They seem to like that guy.
Yeah, I don't want to draft a wide receiver though. But thanks for the comment. Michael Fitzpatrick. We need Wildwood to put some punctuations in right positions on here, but trust Michael Fitzpatrick said, trust the front office. In 2 years, the cancer on this team has went from overpaid players with his just a job players to a want to win, play hard, and focus on your job because everyone is doing their best at their position. Owner, GM, head coaches to the players. This is not a fan favorite team, but the best players and everyone is not game. But the best players and everyone is not guaranteed to stay if there's room for improvement. Yes, you're right, I guess. Michael Fitzpatrick, thanks for the comment.
Thank you. Scott Villian?
No, yeah, Villian.
Okay,
Villian. I don't know if that was he's trying to say villain or not, but that's how he spelled it. That's how I type it.
Yeah. Scott Villian. The Lions offense is all about exploiting matches. So I think you're going to see J-Mo and St. Brown leading snap counts as well as I. But who knows who 3, 4, or 5 is? Laugh out loud. Yeah, I mean,
Josh Reynolds is 3. He's on the team.
Yeah. Josh Reynolds is going to be that. They probably not going to, like they did last year, name Khalif Raymond as a wide receiver, probably name him as a kick returner, punt returner. So I don't know about Cephas, So yeah, it's still open. We still got Maurice Alexander, is that his name, on the practice squad. So who knows what he'll do? Who knows what Trinity Benson will do? So we got options, but I still do think the Lions is probably going to take a guy in the 3rd or 4th round. That's just my guess. So yeah, thank you, Scott.
All right, Jimmy Short. Well, you don't trade up and draft a player 11th overall, 12th overall, and to have him ride the bench or to give him little playing time. Answer is evident. That's correct. I believe that Jameson Williams is the going to be the clear guy. Amara St. Brown, to be the slot guy, he's the number 1 receiver. The number 2 guy is going to be Jameson Williams. So, I mean, you look at the role that St. Brown plays. He plays that Cooper Kupp role, and he was the number 1 receiver out there in LA. Same thing in Detroit. That slot is the number 1, and then you go number 2 is going to be the outside guys, and that's going to be Jameson Williams. No ifs, no ands, no buts about it.
Right. Joseph, friend of the show, Joseph Murdoch says, again, in response to the family discussion topic, yep, they drafted him last season because Holmes found out the hard way that Shark was fleecing them. Hence the reason he signed for $5 million less. Holmes knew what was up and pulled the trigger to get J-Mo. I also heard that Chark recently had ankle surgery. I don't know how true that is.
The coach said it yesterday.
Wow. Wow. Well, there you go. So that answers why he may not be here no more. But yeah, J-Mo's gonna do fine in that, and as whatever next to St. Brown role.
You don't draft a guy that high to have him. Nah, you just don't.
Yeah. Brandon Witt says, question for Coach Mike. Possible draft prospect or UDFA that looks like an MCDC guy. He's ranked 722, says Matthew from the UK. Shout out to Matthew.
That's Florida Lions. That's what's his name?
Yeah. Oh, what's that, man?
Yeah, shout out to Matthew. He said John Tirico, safety, smashes ball carriers and a game changer. And he referenced the MSU game. Former high school QBs always seem to make good safeties in the NFL. Maybe he could replace Sutherfield. You know what's funny? I'm gonna tell you a quick story. Kurt Kittner. He was a senior when I was a freshman. We went to the same school my freshman year before I moved. Kurt Kittner, during the 4th game of the season, broke his thumb. And he went out for like 2 weeks. He came back and he was a strong safety. And he was like an all-conference strong safety. So, that's
a quarterback both sides of the ball.
Yeah, but no, they don't do that in the NFL though. But I get what you said. No, that's why he hit the laughing emoji.
Emergency quarterback, yeah.
Right.
He'd have backup to the backup to the backup to the backup.
Hey, might be in San Francisco after Brock Purdy.
Yeah, that's the comment cards, man. Hey, and one other thick thing, even Brad Holmes is like, yeah, we ain't really looking for a receiver. He even said that at the league meetings. He was like, yeah, we'll keep our eye out on a guy, but he know what it is. You know what I'm saying? He know what it is. J-Mo coming like Omar on the wire. All right, now it's time for your dessert with your man Curt, brought to you by Delightful Bites, custom cookies and desserts for any occasion. If you like how they look, you will love how they taste. Go over and check out the link in the description below. And the link for all those sites I listed earlier are in the description below. Make sure you go out and check out Delightful Bites, man. Facebook in the description below. If you don't do Facebook, go to Instagram or TikTok and put in Delightful Bites and see all that beautiful dessert footage. Delightful Bites, get your cookie on. All the Lions will be hosting on one Mr. Jalen Carter, the man, the myth, and all the stuff that goes on with him to see what's going on. Kick the tires on him on a pre-draft visit. And Dan Campbell said they've already kind of started doing their due diligence. They've talked to one of his teammates, his roommate, I believe. He was saying that, something, he said it was interesting, said it was good, but it's, interesting. They're doing their due diligence and their background check on Jalen Carter. So, you know what I'm saying? I believe that he is still in play if he's available at number 6, man. I just think that, and they talk, oh, well, character. And one thing that they had a caveat on the character. They said football character, not just character, period. So.
Yeah, you need a couple of them savages on the team, though, man.
Absolutely. I say you get him a lawyer, get him some counseling, man, he'll be all right. Hey, but they're gonna kick the tires on him, have him in for a visit, man. And we'll see what's gonna happen in the draft here coming up, man. We got a little less than a month to go, man. The draft will be here before you know it. So hey, it's coming faster, sooner rather than later. But that's your dessert with your man Curt, brought to you by Delightful Bites. Delightful Bites, get your cookie on. Now it's time to take that quick walk on over to that wall of fame, baby. First up, we got the Latino Leo in the house. We got George Eagle in the building. Sage Roberts. We got Rich Bean in the house. Dan Spanos, Jason Portis, and the big fella, Doug Prince 72 over there. Got shout out my man, Coach Jones, co-worker. All right, then you got, for our several members, we got Batman of the 313. We got Henry Wallace, Kirkland Pratt, and Big Dale in the building. Today is Gold Members Meeting Day, so make sure you check the link in the description in the community tab, for the link for the Gold Members Member Meeting. You got Michael Huck is in the building. You got Larry McQuiston. You got North and Ken, Mr. Rupp and Raw himself, Michael Lewis. Lionel of Deuce Bagia. What's up, Nicole? Dominic Davis, Paul Jarose, the Tornado, blowing in from Utah, and the Dr. Detroit. He is always in. To become a member of the Wall of Fame, click that join now button in the description. Now it's time for final thoughts for today's show. LL, what you got?
Final thoughts for today, everybody. Of course, have a great Wednesday. Have a great day. Find yourself some dollar conies. And if you see Kyle Vandenbosch in the street,
don't say nothing.
No, you can say something to him, but I just wanted to bring him up. What is, man? Don't say that name no more.
All right, what you got, Coach?
I ain't even going to address that because Kyle Vandenbosch is respected in the defensive room. You know what? I just want to say that Calais Campbell and listen to Detroit as a possible landing spot. It's just more to Micah Parsons to be like, man, we don't care nothing that you was talking about, man. So you know what? You can take that with a grain of salt. Y'all try and figure out how y'all gonna replace Amari Cooper. That's what y'all need to do. So with that being said, I'm gonna holler at y'all, man, on this Wednesday, man. Take care.
Definitely for me, man, it is Wednesday hump day, baby. Make sure you grind it out today. Week is almost done, halfway there, man. So if you need some help, ask for it. But keep grinding, man. The week is almost through, man. You can get through the rest of the day because you halfway of the halfway point. You're halfway through the day of the halfway point of the week. So, man, make sure you go ahead and keep grinding, keep working hard today. For the Detroit Lions, you see changes coming. The way that this team is viewed has changed. You look at, like you said, Calais Campbell, a guy who's a seasoned veteran in the league, one of the most respected. The guy's a Walter Payton Man of the Year recipient, and he put Detroit on his list. So that tells you, what I'm saying. And you look at what the team is doing. The team itself, look at Sheila Hemp, man, making sure that the players are getting what they need. Hey, we want to update the facility. We moved into Allen Park 20 years ago. It may be time to update it or move somewhere else. You look at that, that's something that the Lions would not have did in the past regime. So she's going to give Lions everything they need to become a winning franchise, and she's going to support the head coach and the general manager and giving them all the tools and the assets to make sure this team is a winning organization. So shout out to Sheila Hamp, man. I'm gonna write me an article here about her here in the real near future, man, because she gotta give Sheila Hamp some love, man. But with all that being said, big things on the horizon, man. I like the fact that you look at the things that they're doing, keeping the Rodwood on the business side. Look at the new field turf. I'm just saying, you got a lot of new things coming and positive spin on what's going on with the Lions, man. We haven't seen that in a long time, man. There's so much excitement. You got the stadium selling out already. Season tickets are almost at capacity. We haven't seen this in the Detroit Lions in a ever or in a long time. And this, I think it's a credit to Sheila Ford Hemp and the people she put around her, people like Chris Spielman and those individuals, man. So shout out to those guys, man. But all that being said, it is time to go ahead and get this napkin, because you was eating the dollar conies. I know you was. Wipe them crumbs off your face, man. Finish your drink and get back to work, baby. And whatever you're doing in life, you got to boss up, ball out, and be the best version of you that you can be. Well, my fellas, LL and Coach Mike Jones, this is Curt Steele, and we will holler at you real soon. We love you, Jim.